Hi everyone, hope you're well. It is Tuesday the 3rd of September 2013 and today, first off, I've just been messing about with a new camera angle. I've put it back in the usual place for the moment, but I might have a new camera angle tomorrow. I suddenly realised the way I could rearrange a couple of things on some shelves over there behind the camera at the moment, where I could rearrange some stuff so that there'd be a space to put the camera, and I was just kind of holding the camera there to see like the general angle to see if it would look good or not. So I'm not sure. I'd have to actually rearrange it and try it out, I think. But the advantage of that, if there was a proper place, because at the moment the camera's sat on a pile of clothes every day, like a clothes drawer that I pulled out, and then the camera's sitting on top. So that's why it's always slightly different, because I just kind of put it down there and adjust it every single time. So it's always a little bit different framing and everything. I try and get it more or less the same, but if it had like a permanent place, then I could set up a very precise position, and I could even leave the camera sitting there. I just put the lens cap on and unplug it and everything, and then I'd have a nice set angle that would be the same every time, and it would just save even more time. I quite like the setup. I've slowly evolved doing this, but again, it's just a realisation that I've had, and a good example of if I wasn't doing this every day, that idea wouldn't have occurred to me. It's only just occurred to me after like however many vlogs I've done, like 150 something at least, isn't it? So so anyway, that's the first thing. So what else? So today I've been going over sorting out a lot of my ideas and trying to focus my efforts, and I've actually made a big elimination today. I've decided that actually I'm not going to pursue learning Unity for the time being, because I'd be pursuing that to make computer games, obviously, and I want to go back to working on my dice game. And if that gets, if I decide that the dice game just doesn't add up yet, like financially for a feasible Kickstarter, because I talked about it a bit before. If I change it, like the way I had it, I was happy. But if I change the game to make it and actually make it good, but then it turns out it would need a bit more, it'd be a bit of a bigger project to get funded, then I would turn to doing a card game instead. I definitely want to do a tabletop game first over a digital computer game or app or something. And there's a couple of reasons for that, and I've been very careful how to explain it without sounding like I'm being dismissive of either genre, which I'm not at all, but they're very different approaches. And I feel with the tabletop games, there's a lot more emphasis on the design of the game and the thought put into it, which I feel comfortable with. I was grinning there because I was trying really carefully not to make it sound like I think it's easy or something, which I don't at all. But I'm comfortable with that challenge. Whereas with computer games, I'm comfortable with the challenge of actually just making something work. But in order for a game to seem professional, it has to have a lot of polish, and which is difficult. And then even when you've achieved that, it's really difficult to get noticed. I think it's a huge market, and the more I learn about the tabletop scene, the more I also think it's a huge market. But it's easier for games to get clout based on the ideas behind them, rather than just the polish. And the polish that you need on tabletop games is much easier to outsource. I feel I have an okay eye for design, and then a lot of it is just getting, if you need it for whatever you happen to be doing, is getting a good artist and, you know, some good, like, Photoshop people or something, you know, but it's not the graphical side of it. Although there is a graphical side, it's not quite as advanced as if you're doing a computer game with moving graphics and animations and all sorts of stuff, and, you know, music and sound effects and everything, you know. I feel like doing a tabletop game is more achievable from a technical point of view. It's definitely not easier in terms of a kind of design point of view, but that's my rationale behind definitely wanting to do tabletop. So, which I knew anyway, but the big realisation looking at my to-do list is that learning Unity is kind of a waste of time, and it's kind of something I really want to do, but I have to accept that it's just because I want to do something doesn't mean it's the best course of action. You know, it would just be me just learning it for fun and for bragging rights or something, you know, rather than I can learn it later if I need to, if I decide to make something, or and ultimately you can always hire a programmer, you know, as well. You know, it's not like the bit that I love is the designing and the creating rather than the coding. So I think that's all I've got to talk about today. That filled up 6.5 minutes very quickly. So yeah, possibly new camera angle tomorrow, possibly more news about my dice game. Oh yeah, the quick note is that's another reason, you know, with the wanting to make my dice game still, is another reason why working on video formats and coming up with strong ideas that just need like say 1 episode a week each is better than just kind of plodding along and churning out loads and loads of mediocre ideas and feeling that I have to do loads and loads. That's the other reason I want to come up with a really strong concept that I can just do weekly episodes of or something, so that I have time to do other projects as well. So anyway, hope you're well, and I will see you tomorrow.